Hey everybody, welcome back to another video where we are continuing our conversation on emotional strength and traits of emotionally strong people, and then quite frankly, traits that they don't possess. Today, we're talking about our second trait, and I'm excited about it because the goal of these videos is that we're growing in our emotional IQ, our ability to be emotionally strong people. When we do that, we grow in self-worth, we grow in confidence, we grow in representing ourself, our truest, purest self to other people more of the time. Even when things are stressful or go wrong around us, we're still able to represent the version of ourselves we would want other people to recognize and know. But more importantly, as we grow in our emotional strength, we grow in our ability to represent the Father accurately as his imagers in the earth. And so this is very important stuff. And it's my hope that through these small little videos, we'll take away little nuggets that we can be intentional about practicing and applying to our life. Today's trait that I really want to zero in on is this idea that emotionally strong people are not threatened. They do not grow angry. They do not let their emotions become swayed by being wrong. Secondly, they are not threatened when other people disagree with them or have a different worldview than them. And I can't think of a principle and a trait that's really more relevant to our society than this one right now, where it seems that we live in a society where you can't disagree with someone without them just exploding as though you just told them you wish they didn't exist or something. It's really quite baffling how the pendulum of people's emotions will swing simply by being told that someone else disagrees with their worldview, disagrees or sees things differently. How much more do people's emotions fly off the rails when they're actually proven to be wrong about something? People really don't like to be told they're wrong. They don't like to be corrected, most people. Well, emotionally strong people aren't threatened by it. They welcome it. Emotionally strong people, of course, in the event that they're corrected in public or they're made to feel humiliated in front of others, nobody likes that. That's never going to feel good. Emotionally strong people still feel the sting that accompanies that sort of an event, but they respond to it completely differently. You see, emotionally strong people are not shaken in their identity. They're not shaken in their confidence just because they were proven to be wrong about something. Emotionally strong people welcome the insight because they understand if they're wrong about something, they want to know. They want to grow in their knowledge and understanding about things and their application of those things, which is wisdom. Because they understand on the other side of wisdom is open doors, new friendships, prosperity, success, you name it. And so emotionally strong people are able to, yes, still feel the sting, but they're able to speak into that painful emotion and say, if I will endure this with humility, I might make a new friend, I might receive a new opportunity, I might grow, I'll represent myself well, I'll represent my God well in my actions, my attitudes, and my behaviors. And they understand that the reward of all of those things, being able to put the pain aside and remain gentle, kind, respectful in the midst of that pain, even to someone who embarrassed you or disrespected you. Emotionally strong people know that there's a far greater reward than responding out of the pain that they felt by being corrected, by being confronted with someone who has a completely different worldview than them, by being even humiliated. Here's what emotionally strong people know. Proverbs 11 verse 2, when arrogance comes, disgrace follows. We can see this in our society today. With access to social media and the internet, we can see people, we can see disgrace at play among the arrogant like never before. We have at our disposal TikTok videos and YouTube videos and news articles and everything else that can show us the disgrace that follows the actions and behaviors of arrogant people who are emotionally weak, okay? But here's what emotionally strong people recognize, that the second half of this: with humility comes wisdom. With humility comes wisdom. Humility is not the absence of embarrassment or humiliation. Humility is the ability to behave and act in a respectful, godly manner in the midst of humiliation and the pain, the shot at our ego, right? It's the ability to love well in the midst of being humiliated or wronged. That is humility. And so emotionally strong people know, I want to act out of these feelings right now, but if I choose humility, there's going to be rewards waiting on the other side of that choice. That's wisdom. The reward is wisdom. And from wisdom comes all the other things: success, prosperity, blessings, opportunities, new friendships, you name it. All of those things come with wisdom. And so emotionally strong people recognize this. I want to show you again in Luke chapter 14, verse 11. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and the one who humbles himself will be exalted. Emotionally strong people recognize this verse as truth. If you are willing to humble yourself, you will be exalted in due time. But if you're sitting there and you've just been corrected, someone disagrees with your worldview, and you are trying to engage in this debate, and you are trying to save face, and you are trying to salvage your ego and appease your ego, and you are trying to quote unquote exalt yourself in the moment to redeem your image in front of other people's, you're threatened because you're worried about what other people are going to think about you if you're wrong, this, that, or the other. Well, humility awaits you. Unfortunately, it's not the kind that we should be doing, and that's humbling of ourselves. Instead, if you try to exalt yourself, you will be humbled involuntarily. But the one who chooses to humble themselves in the moment of correction, where they're not worried about what other people think because they're secure in their identity, they're confident in who they are. Even they can be wrong and it doesn't shake them, because they're secure in their identity. Their identity is not in being all-knowing. And so they're okay with being wrong and fact-checked and corrected. They're okay with hearing another worldview and hearing that someone completely disagrees with them. Emotionally strong people, finally, they understand this: that God resists the proud, but gives grace or favor to the humble. Emotionally strong people recognize that in that moment, when they're wrong, when they're humiliated, when someone disagrees with them, they recognize that it's their ego being challenged, and they can choose pride or humility. And they can also choose to recognize that if they accept being wrong, it doesn't change their value or their worth. It doesn't affect their identity. And so it's much easier to choose the route of humility with that in mind. And when you genuinely believe that, it becomes easier to concede and just say, yeah, you know what? I'll concede to you that I was wrong. I learned something new today. And they take the reward and the treasure of learning something new and of being a kind person and one who's humble enough to admit they were wrong. They build bridges and make new friendships and have new opportunities. But furthermore, God gives grace and favor. Now you have earned the grace and favor of God. Perhaps it's because you represented him well, and he can trust you as his imager in the earth. There's a myriad of reasons that God gives grace to the humble. Regardless, emotionally strong people, they don't just know this, they genuinely believe it. So when push comes to shove, they're willing to apply it. It's very, very difficult. You don't just recognize this and know it and believe it and become very, very good at denying yourself, your ego in those moments. It takes practice, repetition. It takes time of maturing and growing in these skills. but it begins with recognizing them and choosing to apply them. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. If it has, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the issue below in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I believe 75% or 74% of active viewers of this channel are not yet subscribed. And so if that's you, I'd love to invite you into the family. It would really, really help this channel and the message of this channel go forth and edify more lives. So if that's you, please, I'd invite you to engage so that the message can go forth and reach a wider audience. But nevertheless, I hope that this has added value to you, edifies you, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.